What's up, guys? Hefe here. Let's talk Moneyball. Uh, Moneyball is nominated for Best Picture. It stars Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill supporting role, Philip Seymour Hoffman supporting role, and directed by Bennett Miller, who the only other thing he's done that I know of is Capote, and I've never seen it. Moneyball is about Billy Beane, who is the general manager, and I think still is the general manager of the A's, the Oakland A's, um, and specifically about their 2002 season. And um, basically, after 2001, the A's lost a lot of big players like Giambi, a few others, and they needed to figure out a way to rebuild their team for success with a fraction of the money that the big teams like the Yankees have. And at the opening of the film, they show you like a I don't know if it was a playoff game or end of season game where it was the A's versus the Yankees, and then they show a title card, and it's like the A's 37 million, the Yankees like 140 million. All right, so it's about a guy, Billy Beane, played by Brad Pitt, trying to create a winning team when he's lost his best players, and they don't have the money to really rebuild it and be competitive. You would think. But then he hires this guy, and I'll get the guy's name because he's a real guy, and this is a real story. And this is recent history. This is the 2002 Oakland Athletics. Um, he hires a guy named Peter Brand, who is an economics major from Yale. He's an economist who looks at the game very differently than your usual scouts, and it's all numbers to him, and it's all on base percentage, and it's all about adding up runs, right? That's his formula. That's the way he evaluates players, and that's what the movie's about. Is about how Billy Beane and Peter Brand, how they changed the way that baseball evaluates players, or did they? I don't know. I'm not like a baseball expert, but the movie says that they did. Uh, so he doesn't when he this Peter Brand guy who's played by Jonah Hill, when he evaluates a player, he's not looking at their age. Who cares if he can last for one season? Great. Um, he's not looking at like throwing style, marital problems, like things outside of the numbers he doesn't care about, right? Which makes all the scouts mad and established, baseball, the whole industry pissed off at these two guys. But they actually put something together here with their strategy. And that's what the movie is about. That's almost entirely what the movie's about. And it's kind of an odd one to me because it's nominated for Best Picture, but I wouldn't nominate it for Best Picture. I think it's good. If I had to pick one word review for Moneyball, interesting. Interesting doesn't equal great. It's interesting. It's an interesting part of baseball history that I didn't know about. Even though it's recent history, I just don't follow sports that closely. Um, so it was interesting to me to see how these guys went about it and the way everyone was against them, and yet they still got some success out of it. And if you're also don't know the sport, if you're about as knowledgeable as me, I'm not going to spoil anything, but that was their approach, and you'll get to see how they did with it. And I think the performances are really good in it. I think Brad Pitt stands out among this cast as Billy Beane. I thought he was excellent in it, and I'm one of these people that likes Brad Pitt, and I think he can act. I know there's people that say otherwise, or like, oh, he's good in some movies. I have never seen Brad Pitt bad in a film. Name one, and you'll see if I agree with you. But I don't. I've never seen him give a bad performance. Um, Jonah Hill as Peter Brandt, the economics guy. He he's good in it, and he got nominated for Best Supporting Actor. And I think there's maybe a small fraction of a chance that he'll win, but he's not really doing anything special. Jonah Hill's just kind of reacting to Brad Pitt most of the time, and all it is Jonah Hill, like turned down to like a one, and you know, playing a serious role instead of a comedic role. But there's not a lot of meat to his character. There's not much there. He just kind of has to stand around and react to Brad Pitt and be like, "Well, this is what I think we should do," And yeah, he's good. I'm just a little surprised, but like I said, he's good in it. Another person I thought was really good in it. He's not in it a lot, and it's the same thing with him, where it's not like he's not like a very you know deeply developed character. Is Philip Seymour Hoffman? Uh, I look up his name once again. It's like basically they're the coach, the field manager in it. What the fuck? Art Howe, if I'm saying that right. Art Howe, Philip Seymour Hoffman, athletics manager. He he's good in it. And it's kind of against type because I don't picture, at least I don't picture Philip Seymour Hoffman as a baseball coach. So everyone gives good performance. It's interesting subject matter. It's interesting recent history, at least interesting recent sports history, but it's just not mind blowing. And it's not a sports movie like a typical sports movie because there's almost no baseball in it. It's all done from the management and the money perspective, which, when if you think about it, that's what professional sports is kind of all about. It isn't really about the quarterback really wants to win the game, or you could do that with Friday Night Lights or something like that, which is probably my favorite sports film. But here, it's just purely focused on the back office and shit like that, and it's good. It's a solid movie. It's a good rental. I recommend it. I just think, for me, not a Best Picture nomination, and it's good. It's not great, and there were a few things I thought were problematic. Kind of, it has a very slow, deliberate pace, and it doesn't really. It's always kind of interesting, but there's like kind of long stretches, and it takes a while to get going. And it's in no hurry to get where it's going, and it's just not too much excitement going on. I mean, to put it simply, it's a slow film, so that'll be a problem for some people. Um, and I think it's just a problem in general. I think you want good pacing in your film. And the other thing is, what the fuck is the other thing? I think it struggles because it's so much about these guys like new approach to like evaluating players and scouting and whatnot. That's really all it's about. So that it struggles to find the character story in there, the emotional, the drama, and it does find it, and it's actually pretty good and kind of subtle, and it's kind of about how Billy Beane, Brad Pitt's character, is a perpetual loser. Like, he first got into the major leagues, and he's supposed to be this big player, but he just sucked it up all the time, and he kind of like flamed out real quick. And it's just this guy that can't win, and he's managing the A's, and with no money, and that's where they find, they tie like the main story that they want to tell into like a character story and a drama, and it's not overdone. It's subtle, but it's also not terribly exciting. Like, oh, this guy's a loser. He'll always be a loser. And that's another thing with the film, too. Not to give away spoilers, but this is sports history. I won't give spoilers here, but just saying, it's like, what's the movie's position on this? Did these guys change baseball, or is it really all about money and whoever has the most money? Like, can you build a winning team out of 40 million versus these guys that have way more, or can you not? And I don't think the film answers that question. It tries to have it both ways. It tries to say, oh, like money is everything, but yet you could use their strategy and still win. Or can you? And I hate, if that's a spoiler to anybody, I hope, I'm sorry, but I think that's also another, like, kind of a problem with the film. Maybe I'm totally wrong on that or whatever, but I just feel like it's having it both ways. Like, oh, sports are dominated by money, and yet you can still win without money, or can you? Or, can you win with the strategy or not? And it seems to say, oh, yeah, you can, but, without going to spoilers, can you? Can you really win? Can you really beat the Yankees with, a way smaller amount of money? So overall, it's good. It's solid. To me, it's a solid three out of 5 stars. But an Oscar nomination, nah. Where the fuck was Drive on that list? Seriously, where the fuck was Drive? Some of the Oscar nominations kind of pissed me off. Where was Drive? Where was Dominic Cooper for The Devil's Double? Seriously, how the fuck do you not nominate Dominic Cooper? How the fuck do you not nominate Drive? The only thing Drive was nominated for was sound editing, which I think it'll win because people will be like, oh man, I should have voted for Drive to get nominated for Best Picture more because it got totally shafted and shit like Moneyball, and it's not shit, but I'm saying shit like The Help, which I haven't seen The Help, but to me looks like condescending, like unintentional racism, white guilt bullshit, and that gets nominated for Best Picture, but not Drive, and fucking Dominic Cooper doesn't get it for Best Actor. The only nominations I'm happy about are Nick Nolte for Warrior, supporting actor, Melissa McCarthy for Bridesmaids for supporting actress, and the script for Bridesmaids. I'm surprised Bridesmaids got that much, and I'm happy for them. I hope they win. I hope Melissa McCarthy wins. But back to my point, Moneyball, good rental. Watch it. It's a decent film from a film standpoint. If you're into baseball, slightly higher, maybe 3.5, maybe 4. I still don't think it's a 5-star film. Yeah, and that's it. But I don't know. Sorry to go on a rant, but whatever. That's my thoughts on it. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about Moneyball and the Oscar noms. Later.